Oh, that's my new intro. So hello, welcome everyone. My name is Susan Jane from the Art of Intuition, and today I'm doing a quick flower reading for one of my students who has joined in one of the online courses at theartofintuition.com.au. Now, what she has joined in was live flower reading, and of course I can't do her live flower reading. She's at the other end of Australia, so she has done a flower image. So I can do a flower reading for the image, and the difference is when you're reading a live flower, you're reading the essence of the flower. So you're getting that really intuitive overdrive straight away. You know, you really start to hone in on what that flower is basically telling you. You're reading its essence, you're reading the energy of the flower. When you're doing a flower reading for the images, it's a little bit different because their intuition has picked this particular image. And so you've got to try and get an understanding of what's going on and where it is. So there's different levels that we can look at. And one of the areas that we go to straight away when we're doing a flower image reading, and we can do this with live flowers as well, is to start with, we can either approach it intuitively, where we look at the image and then go, well, how does that make me feel? Which is terrific. That's perfect, and you will get better at that as you go. But the other way we can do it is we start with the logic. So when we're seeing it, we're going, how do we feel? We're starting with intuition, and then we bring in some of the logic that goes with it. When we're doing it, when we're learning, we look at the logic stuff first, and then we let our intuition take that away with us. Now, when we say I look at the logic, I'll bring up the flower image first. So here is her flower image. Whoops, I've just disappeared. Whoop, there I am. So here is her flower image, and it's a relationship flower image. So when we look at that, we can start to look at all the logical side first. If we don't get that feeling, now straight away intuitively, I get this feeling that relationships are really, really important here, and she's starting to question what's going on and what it's all about. Because when we have a flower like this, it's very individual, very independent. There's no other flowers around it. There's nothing in the background about it. It's all very, very focused on this flower. In fact, it's such a beautiful image. It's really, really important. It's like this focus is really, really strong. So that's how we can look at it intuitively, and we can start to bring forward the different things that we see and we feel, and that's how we read a flower intuitively. That's how we will often get it when we're doing a live flower reading. And the same sort of thing, we can look at the logic side to it to help us really connect with our intuition. So when we start to look at this intuitive flower, this is about a relationship. So as I said, the first thing I see, that like the persona, that what we put out there is this relationship is really, really important. It's really important to this person. So that's the first area we look at. When we're looking at it logically as a flower image, the first part we look at is the image itself. It is a portrait style image. It's not a landscape style image, which is a very positive outlook. Landscape is more of a negative outlook, but it's not a negative in a bad way. A portrait is more of the individual. It's all about the individual. It's all about the I am. So it's very, very individually based. It can be ego based as well. So when we look at it that way, we can see it that side of it. So although it's positive, what you look at with this one, when you're looking at a goal such as a relationship, the positive aspect to it is that you're looking at getting the best you can out of this relationship. It's really, really important to you. If it was a landscape image, it's more about the community, and that's why it's often in a negative context, because usually when you want to help the community, or when you want to do the right thing by the community, there's usually something that's negative happening, and so you're putting the positive spin on it. So when we have a landscape design, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad negative. It just means that's the focus, and we tend to focus on the negative when we're using a landscape, because we want to create a positive. Whereas this one is we're focusing on the positive, and we can actually just negate some of the negatives. But for this particular image, because it is a relationship image, it's really, really important. And why I said it's really, really important to this person is because it is in a portrait format. Okay, so it is important. It stands out. It's there. It's you know, where we need to be and what we want to look at. Another area we can look at with the image is the size of the image compared to the size of the size of the subject, sorry, the subject, which is the flower, compared to the size of the actual picture. Now, when we look at this one, it's not extroverted. It's not like jumping off the page, but it's not introverted either. Like, it's not in a distance. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at more of the it's more of a neutral towards the extroverted side of it. So when we look at that as a personality, what we look at with this intuition from this person is the fact that they feel that this is an important one, and they want it to be out there, and they want it to be seen that their relationship is how they want it to be. Now, that can be positive or negative, but I seem to feel intuitively, and because of the colors and everything else, that it's in a positive manner. So she wants the world to see that the relationship is going well, and everything is honky-dory. So, you know, everything is going well in that relationship, and we can see by the way it is standing out from the background and how clear and crisp it is. So that's the size, that's the personality. Now, if you have an introvert, like a smaller flower, and that's the personality, it just means that the relationship, it's not that it's so important, it's more about it doesn't have to be important to the rest of the world. It's what they want to know, or what they feel about the relationship. Whereas with this relationship and the size of it, it's like it's important that the community know about it, like family know about it, that it's very, very relative to who they are, and so they're quite happy to show it to the world. Other people a little want to hide it. This one, no, there's no hiding in this one. So that's that side of it. Then we can look at elements of the flowers. We can look at the stem, we can look at the leaves and look at the petals, all those sort of areas that we're looking at. And this is how our intuition is kicking in. We're seeing it, and we're putting an idea to it, like a thought to it, and then we can allow that feeling to come through. So when you're doing these live flower readings, that's the same sort of principle. You might be holding the stem, you might be looking at the stem, but you may not realize that logic has kicked in, but the intuition, the feeling has come forward with it. So that's what's really, really important. So we look at the stem and we go, okay, well, this stem's a nice strong stem. It's holding that flower up, all right. You think of a little daisy. If you pick a little daisy, the stem will go, bloop. It doesn't hold the flower up. It does while it's growing, but not so much when you pick it. So a live flower is a little bit different in that reading context. So we look at this stem, and because it is a flower image, and we also know even a live flower, because it is a rose, we know that those stems are strong enough. We know that that's suitable for them. The only reason that would be wilting is because it's been out of the water for too long or been cut for too long. But in general, we know that the stem is strong enough to hold up that flower. So that talks about the path and the journey about this relationship, and it is strong enough. The relationship is strong enough to get through whatever they need to get through. The relationship will handle it, because if we think of the relationship as the flower itself and everything around it, we can see that will work quite well. The stem is straight, it's to the point, it's a good stem. So if we're having a look at windy stems, it means that, you know, to get to the path, we may have to do a couple of changes and everything else. When you're looking at stems, if you see them split, they're choices to make. Don't need to worry about that. Can't see any of that happening here on this photo. The other area we can look at is the leaves. Now, the leaves are our guides. When we look at leaves that are above the flowers, now, if you're holding a live flower, you're not going to necessarily have leaves above the flower. But when you're looking at a flower image, you could have leaves above the flower, which suggests that it's a more of a spiritual nature. The guidance that you can get, because leaves are guidance, is more of a spiritual nature. When you've got leaves down lower, it suggests that the leaves are more of a physical guidance, so of a physical person more so than a spiritual guide. When we look at where they are on the picture, and we can see there's lots of guides there that are low, so there's going to be a lot of physical help with her, you know, with this relationship. So if you need any support, you can, well, support's more your stem, but if you can need any guidance, it's more that way. You've got plenty there. Now, when we look at flowers to the right, like we're looking at this side, so it's flowers on this side, or leaves on this side, is suggesting that it is coming forward, it's in the future, and the other side is the past. All right, so when we look at this particular flower, we've got this lovely, got this lovely one jutting forward, this lovely guide jutting forward. So that guide is happening here and now, right now. This is it. This is the information that you're getting, the understanding you're getting, wherever that is. Whether I know she's enrolled in another course, you know, whatever that information is coming through, it's coming through strong right now because you need it right now, and you're getting this physically through other people. So not so much. So if you had the flowers above, I would say do some meditation, do some guidance. You need that spiritual guidance, but at the moment yours is all physical. So the guidance that you're getting about this relationship is all of the physical nature. And when we also look at the flowers themselves, the leaves, we can see the shape and what the shape is, whether it's a masculine or feminine shape. And that's the type of guidance you're going to get. So a masculine guidance can be a little bit more aggressive, and it's like, do this, you need to do this. Doesn't matter if it's coming from male or female, it's the type of guidance, okay? It's that energy. More of a passive one, well, could be a bit more like how I do it. It's a little bit softer, a little bit gentler. It's like, well, you can do that if you want to. If you choose to, this is a good idea. Try looking at that. And we do it, it's done in a different way. So that's a more of a feminine way. So we can do all that. The other aspect is, and I'm going to have to quickly run this along because it's going longer than I anticipated. But anyway, the other aspect is the petals. Now, the petals are about attraction. And when we want to attract something with a relationship, well, with a flower, when they want to attract bees or anything like that, it's all about the colour and the scent and, you know, the shapes and what we look like. Now, with this flower, and it's the petals and everything else, the attraction is there's lots of layers of attraction. There's lots of petals. It's not like a simple daisy where you've just got, you know, maybe 5 petals. There's lots of layers of attraction on this one. So as far as this relationship goes, it's not simple. It's not like, oh, I love them because of this. It's all those beautiful layers of that this relationship has that makes it so special. And the only thing I want to sort of say is that I know there's a heart center in that flower. I know that there's a heart center because roses have heart centers. This one isn't showing. So my suggestion, because I do have to run it on, my suggestion for this relationship, if you want this relationship to work and you want it to work well, open your heart. Open up your heart center and allow that to be shown. Allow that vulnerability to come through, allow that openness to come through. Because once you start to expose your heart, then you know that relationship is at its fullest. That relationship is at its peak when you open your heart up. And that is what this flower is telling you to do. We know it's there. We know that that's got a heart center. You just need to open it up. Did I go that way? I should go that way. Just need to open it up. Okay, so that's how we can look at how you can help your relationship is by being a little bit more open and having it come from the heart. Now, that is easier said than done. And I know as a younger person, as a younger woman, that I really struggled with that. I really struggled with that, especially depending on the type of relationship you've got. In the relationship I have now, I don't have any problem in doing that. And my heart center, my opening up my heart, when we think about the rose and what that that looks like, the heart center looks like. When you're opening up, it's not always pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, but it is open and it is real. So I know, and I'm not sure about this young lady's situation or anything else, but I know, and I'm only going to talk from my experience, that I didn't open my heart up. My relationship broke down. I didn't open my heart up. I didn't know how to. I was scared. And I was scared of the responses I was going to get. I was scared of the reaction I was going to get. I didn't understand that. I wasn't strong enough within myself to understand that. And it wasn't until now, and I mean, it's been quite a few years now, that I can sort of turn around and go, okay, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Opening up your heart and letting them see the good, the bad, the ugly. It's you. It is who you are. And honestly, the ugly and the bad isn't really that ugly, and it isn't really that bad. It's really quite beautiful. So that is it. I have to do our weekly intentions. I have to go, but I wanted to put that forward for you and let you know how that was going. So good luck. Let me know how you go, and I wish you all the best. Okay, I am going to say bye for now. And yeah, that's it. Bye for now.